I met Sienna in the most ordinary way imaginable. I worked in IT security for a mid-sized tech company, and she was a marketing assistant at an office right across the street. We ended up at the same food truck more often than not, and it all started with simple, harmless conversation. She was clever, confident, a little sarcastic, exactly the kind of person who pulls you in before you even realize how invested you become. 2 years later, we were married. Our life wasn't flashy, but it was stable. I made sure we lived comfortably. I paid off our condo, cooked dinner most nights, and sat with her through long evenings of studying when she enrolled in night classes for digital branding. I believed in her with conviction stronger than anything she had for herself. When she got promoted to brand manager at a major cosmetics company, I was genuinely happy for her. She called me from her car, crying from excitement, telling me that her new supervisor, Damien, had pushed her to apply and had even written a stellar recommendation. I didn't question a thing. Why would I? I trusted her fully. But 6 months later, things began shifting. She started coming home at ridiculous hours, sometimes well past midnight, with excuses that never seemed to quite make sense. A delayed launch, endless client dinners, too much work left unfinished. And any time I gently asked about it, she'd make me feel like I was being unreasonable or insecure. One night, while she was showering, her phone lit up on the nightstand. A message from Damien. I missed the way you looked at me when you left my place this morning. My entire body went numb. I scrolled through the messages, my hands shaking uncontrollably. Weeks of conversations. Nothing hidden, nothing subtle. They were mocking me openly, calling me clueless, talking about how she could never go back to normal life after being with him. She walked out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel and saw me holding her phone. She didn't react with fear or guilt. She just exhaled slowly and said, "I'm sleeping with my boss. Deal with it or leave." No apology, no hesitation. Like I was some old piece of furniture she'd grown tired of. I didn't yell. I didn't break down. I simply nodded. "Okay," I said. She smirked. "That's all." I looked at her directly. "You'll understand soon." The next morning, I didn't go to work. Instead, I put my 15 years of cybersecurity skills and every contact I'd accumulated to use. I dug into Damien's online presence, his side accounts, his private messages, his dealings outside of work. It didn't take long to uncover that Mr. Charming had a habit of operating on the wrong side of legality. Bribes, shady transactions, fabricated invoices. It was all there. I packaged everything neatly. Timestamps, screenshots, logs, and sent anonymously to his company's board. Within a week, he was suspended. 2 weeks later, fired. But I wasn't done. Sienna's work laptop password was embarrassingly predictable. It took me minutes to access emails tying her to several of those same fraudulent invoices. And even better, proof that some supposed off-site meetings were actually romantic trips with Damien. I forwarded everything to her HR department. She was terminated before the end of the day. That evening, she came home crying, really crying, for the first time since this whole thing began. There was real panic in her eyes. "I lost everything," she sobbed. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. "Damien won't answer me. They're saying I might get blacklisted." I stared at her for a moment before saying the only word she deserved. "Deal with it." The next morning, I packed my belongings and walked out. I left the condo silent and empty, leaving her with no job, no affair, and no plan for the future. Months later, I heard she'd moved back in with her parents and taken a part-time retail job. She sent me one email, just one short sentence. "I made a mistake. I never replied." Some people only learn when everything is taken away, and I made sure she felt the weight of every arrogant word she had thrown at me. In the end, this wasn't about revenge or destroying her life. It was about reclaiming my dignity. She expected me to swallow her betrayal, as if it were supposed to be my new normal. She underestimated the quiet man who stood by her, cooked for her, supported her dreams. Once trust is broken, there is no repairing it. She gambled everything on an affair, assuming I'd be too weak to walk away. Instead, I let her watch the world she built on lies crumble piece by piece, without shouting, without pleading, without looking back. Sometimes closure comes from silence, because the moment I stopped fighting for her, I finally started fighting for myself.